Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to cover the Cyriopagopus C.minax, and we have a young female in this pot here, and she's grown on now and she's pretty much outgrown this pot, so we need to look at getting her over into something a little bit bigger. So I've got one of these Fossorial enclosures here, which were they've been out a little while now. These have come from the Tarantula Room, and I've got to be honest, I'm very much a glass man. I prefer my glass enclosures. I'm not overly keen on these acrylic-y plastic type things, but I thought we'd give it a go because that in itself is a really cool design, and it's absolutely perfect for our fossorial spiders, things like the C.minax or the lividum, things like that. And then hopefully maybe we can see the tunnel go down inside here, and we should get a decent view of what's going on. So I thought we'd give them a try. They are really inexpensive. And you see them at all the shows. There's not a show goes on in this country where the Tarantula Room is not present in a big way. And we've seen many good reports about these enclosures. So we thought we're going to give them a try. So what we got is a magnetic lid, which really is quite strong. That's really cool. It's also got a temperature gauge inside there as well, and that gives us our humidity as well. Now, one thing that is worth saying is, although this has got a humidity gauge on it, it won't be telling you the humidity which is in your enclosure in the soil or anything like that. This is purely an air humidity. So it will, because it's up like that and it's in the lid, it will be reading the humidity in our room more so than it will be in our enclosure. So it's something worth thinking about. Same with the temperature as well. It's important that the temperature on here will be reading the room rather than the actual inside of the enclosure. So it's just something to bear in mind. Now, as we were saying, the C.minax or minax, which way you want to pronounce it, is a fossorial spider. So we're going to fill this up. It's a little bit awkward to fill. It's not a particularly large top on it, but then that's because of the style of the design. It's only a narrow enclosure. So we're going to fill it up with some substrate. Now the C.minax is an old world species. Comes from Burma, all around there, Thailand. And they are quite a popular spider. They are classed as an advanced spider, and this is because they do have quite the attitude. So what we're going to do is we're just going to push this down a little bit. Nothing serious, just a little bit. I'm going to add a bit more to that. Now, being a fossorial spider, they do require some depth. We don't want to take it right to the very top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just use a simple piece of bark like this. I'm just going to dig that in there, like so. The idea being that this is just going to give the spider a bit of a head start, somewhere to think about going. Put that in there like that. Keep that like that. A bit difficult to get my hands in here, but we'll see. Do that. And what we're going to do is just cover the edges in like that, and hopefully it will give the spider the idea that that is where it wants to be going. It's down in here. If only I could get my hand in there. That's better. So we'll just dig that out. Of course, it really is quite awkward. Now we're not going to bother with any furniture or anything, or put anything like that in it, but we are going to go for a water bowl. Now by having the piece of cork here, we're encouraging the spider to go down in that direction. We want it to go down there. So we will put, because she's going to dig a lot of this out, it's all going to end up on this side here. So we're going to put our water bowl up here. All being well, that will be fine there. And we're not overly worried about having this too high here, because she will dig some of this out. And it might be a case that we will need to remove some of the soil once she's finished making home. And that is it. That's all it is. We're going to keep this really nice and simple. Nice and easy. I'm just going to get a little bit of tissue just to wipe this down. You know what I'm like about this glass, guys. I can't stand dirty glass.
It's not glass.
Or even perspex. Yes, I know, I hear you. Right. Here we go. Let's have a look at our spider. Now then, let's just take this off here. You notice, by the way, I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. Look at this. Absolutely perfect. This is my new Lazy Susan. Isn't she beautiful? Got for Christmas by my lovely sister. She's a good girl, isn't she? Look at that. Perfect. I've just got to demonstrate this. It's like one of them old game host shows, isn't it? Look at that. Lovely quality. Beautiful. Right, forget all about that. Let's have a look at our minax. Now these guys in here, as I said earlier on, these are an old world species, and they are given to have a rather terrible reputation as being very, very fast and very aggressive. They are quick to defend themselves, so we need to be careful. We need to watch our fingers, but we will treat them in the same way as we treat all our other spiders. So just with a little bit of care, a little bit of respect, hopefully she will reward us with some good behaviour. We will see, shall we? Right, if you'd like to come over here and we can have a look. As you can see, this is how we often keep our slings. This is a nice, easy, simple enclosure. We literally just filled it with soil. As you can see here, the water bowl is pretty non-existent and has been for some time. Now, there has been a lot of talk about water bowls lately, and as you can see here, this girl has not got a viable water bowl. Now, when we get her out, you will see that it didn't really matter, and a lot of this is because we gut feed our roaches and our crickets, and they come in, when we feed them to our spiders, they are fully hydrated food items. So she gets all of the necessary hydration through her food. Now that's not to say that she doesn't need a water bowl. What I'm trying to explain here is that, yes, ideally, water bowl, very good idea. But with a lot of your fossorial spiders, quite often they bury them, they dig them down, they dispose of them, they do all sorts of things with them. It doesn't matter how many you change them. I've had enclosures here where I've pulled out half a dozen different bottle tops where they just keep burying them and disposing of them. So what I'm trying to say is, just relax. If your food is of high quality, then you don't need to sweat so much about the water. It's all about hydration. That's the important part, is hydration. So what we're going to do, she is actually down in here. You can just about see her toes there, I think. Maybe you might be able to just about see them. They're just in there. If I give her bum a little touch, she might just come out the front. Let's hope she don't come out too quick. Here she comes. We don't want to come out too quick, so I don't want to wear her on my hand. So we're literally just going to give her a little tiny touch. And as you can see, she's coming through. So what we're going to do now, we are going to move this over to here. We don't want to catch cup this spider if at all possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer the old enclosure up to the lip of this one, and she will come down. Even if she drops into here, it's not high enough to cause her any damage. She'll be fine. So what we're going to do, here she comes. We're just going to give her a nice gentle little bit of gentle encouragement. You notice we got her old enclosure is now flat, so we can see what's going on. If I can get behind her now, always important to get your brush behind. We're going to use the other end now because I keep getting caught. We can use this. We're moving the web out of the way gently. Now, being a fossorial spider, once she comes out, she will feel threatened. And this is when we start to get the defensive behaviour. As you can see, she's very good at the moment. Here she comes. What a stunning, stunning spider this is. Now, as she gets older, this is a subadult female. As she gets older, she will turn black. And she's very, very cool at the moment. What we're going to do now is we're just going to gently move her. You notice we're maintaining contact with the brush. And there she goes. It's as simple as that. She might actually go and have a drink. No, she's not interested in the drink. She's more interested in finding somewhere to hide. Now, as you can see now, with the size of this spider, this enclosure is plenty big enough as we stand at the moment. It's cool. She doesn't need any more than that. And this is perfectly good. Now, one of the other things that we have here is we need to keep the humidity up for these spiders. These guys do like a high humidity. So we're looking at anywhere between sort of around about the mid-70s up into the mid-80s in humidity is fine for these. Now, one of the things that I often hear people commenting about, especially with this type of enclosure, is there is no cross ventilation. We don't necessarily need it in our fossorial spiders. If you imagine they're living down in a burrow, even in the wild, there is no cross ventilation down in a hole. Yeah. So what you will get is a humidity build up in there, which is fine. These spiders are designed to deal with that. What we don't want is to get this so wet that it's uncomfortable. So even in the wild, if that was dug down there, yes, the humidity might be very, very high. It might be up in the 90s, but it's not sodden, it's not waterlogged or anything like that. They will choose somewhere that is still, although humid, it's still fairly dry. You know, the substrate will be damp but not wet, and this is what we need to concentrate on. So keep your spider like this, you will be fine. When it comes to actually moistening this soil, all we need to do is dribble some down into the corners, and we can watch it go through the soil. You'll see the change in colour, and then we can wait for that to be absorbed by the rest of the soil. And that is how you maintain the humidity in there. But at the end of the day, you still want this loose like this. This is nice and loose here. This is what we're looking for. Right, well, I think we saw there, very, very simple enclosure, and we will give an update on this, and we will see how well this Tarantula Room enclosure has actually fared. Because like I say, I do prefer a glass one, but because of the size of these, you can get many of these on a shelf. Absolutely perfect. Now, being a fossorial, we get the same old thing. Everyone goes on, oh, it's just a pet hole. Well, I can tell you now, I got 2 of these, and I see them out every evening. They're always out and about. So remember, do what we've done before. Monitor your food with your fossorial spiders, and you will see more of them. And this is the key. Feed them wisely, you will see them. Now, that is an absolutely stunning spider. And I think, going on looking at the reputation of these guys, maybe we have a broken one. Or maybe we've just done a really good job and we treated her well. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. We will do an update. We'll see how she's getting on. But don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. I'll see you soon, guys.